Welcome to Love Yourself Thin, the podcast for quilters and creatives who are done with diet culture and ready for permanent transformation. I'm Dara Thomason, and I am here to tell you something that might surprise you. You are your best investment. No one can do this work for you because you know yourself best. You aren't a robot that needs to be programmed with a perfect meal plan or exercise routine. What you need is a set of tools that work on your brain and connect to your body, tools to help you repair, renovate, and build the life that you really want, no matter how old you are, no matter how long you've been suffering. I know this is possible because I've done it in my own life, losing 50 pounds through life coaching tools, feeling my feelings, and helping hundreds of women do the same. So if you're ready to quit the yo-yo dieting cycle and to finally feel good in your own body, I am so happy you're here. So this is our very first episode for January 2026. I want to wish you a happy new year. And if you're thinking, here we go again, another January, another attempt to lose this weight, I want you to know this year can actually be different. But just like Henry Ford said, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you always got. This year can be different, not because we have a better diet plan for you, but because we're going to solve the real problems. Here's what I've learned working with hundreds of women. You don't have a knowledge problem. You have a thinking and feeling problem. You already know what healthy eating looks like. You know you should move your body. You know you should drink more water. You're smart. You're capable. You're amazing. You've done so many things. So why do you keep falling short? This is what I call the knowledge versus action gap. And it's the great dilemma of weight loss. You know what you should do, but something stops you from doing it. Here's what's really happening. When you can't follow through, it's not that you're lazy, and it's not that you're broken, and it's definitely not because you're lacking willpower. I see all your hard work, but you're stuck in what researcher Kristen Neff calls your threat defense system, your reptilian brain. Today's episode, I have linked in the bio her famous TED Talk, which I myself have watched many times and in fact watched with my kids, and we've had many discussions about it. I know this is going to help you in so many ways. So I am thrilled that we're going to dive into this. Now, you've heard me talk about the higher and the lower brain, but I want you to follow this way of thinking in a different way. So let's see what your reaction is. And I, of course, always love your comments. Every time you criticize yourself, why can't I just do this? What's wrong with me? I should be better at this. You're releasing cortisol and adrenaline, right? That's our stress response. Your body thinks it's under attack, and it is under attack from you. You become both the attacker and the attacked. And when your body is flooded with stress hormones, right, that cortisol, it eventually shuts down into depression to try to protect itself. Depression is not exactly the best motivational mind state. And depression, as we know, is internal pain turned inwards. But here's the game changer. You also have the mammalian caregiving system. So when you treat yourself with compassion, with warmth, with gentleness, with the same kindness you'd show a good friend, your body releases oxytocin and opiates, a feel-good hormone, those feel-good hormones. And when you feel safe and comforted, you're in the optimal mindset to do your best. Now, you think about when you were a baby, as a mammal, you were completely dependent on your mom. And so there was a warmth and you would snuggle in. So think about even now as women, if you're in menopause or perimenopause, they have studies about why we want to go in the hot tub or have really hot showers. And I can link some of those in the comments below. But think about, okay, I want you to ask yourself, what are the ways that you are talking to yourself and what reaction is it having inside your body? Are you wanting to cuddle into yourself just like a newborn baby? and feel that warmth? Or are you trying to push away, scrolling on your phone or going to eat to mimic that warmth? When I eat more food, I'm increasing my internal body temperature. When I'm scrolling, I'm increasing my body temperature in a short-term way to get that dopamine hit. Imagine a father whose son comes home with a failing math grade. The harsh approach says, "I'm ashamed of you." The son might try harder in the short term, but eventually he'll lose faith in himself, become depressed, and probably give up. But the compassionate father says, "Ouch, wow, you must be hurting. I'm sorry. Give me a hug. I still love you. It happens to everyone, but I know you want to get your grades up. What can I do to help? How can I support you?" What approach do you think obviously creates lasting change? Do you tend to take for yourself? Like when you step on the scale or when you have eaten more than what you had promised you'd eat during the holidays? How are you talking to yourself? And one of the scariest parts about all of this is that our brain looks for patterns. The more it looks for patterns, that creates a habit. So we are now having these habitual thoughts. We don't even realize that keep saying, "What's wrong with you? You're such a loser." And we're constantly attacking and berating ourselves on autopilot. By the end of the day, when we're having this ice cream at 10 at night, when we're thinking, "I wanted to be good, I don't want to eat this ice cream," it's because we need this warmth, right? We need to remove ourselves from such negativity. The knowledge versus action gap, which I'm saying we know what we should eat, but we don't always follow through. That's what we're talking about. It isn't about asking yourself, what should I do? But what do I need? When you meet your fundamental needs with compassion, instead of attacking yourself with criticism, action becomes more natural, not forced. This is what we're building in the 90-day workbook. Inside my membership, I help women see why we struggle with permanent weight loss, why we keep turning to the food when we know that the food actually doesn't solve the problem. I want to break down my 5 fundamental steps of building permanent weight loss. The very first step is called weight loss science is simple. When we can simplify something that feels really confusing, then we can have a clear path. So when we understand that our hormones, about our insulin, it's the fat storage hormone. We also need to understand leptin. That's the hormone that tells our body when we've had enough. Understand ghrelin. That's the hormone that says, yep, we're actually really hungry and we could do with having some now. We also need to understand cortisol, which we talked about creating that reaction, that stress response. Our fight or flight is connected to cortisol because if we have a bear or a tiger or some imminent threat, we need to have a burst of energy so that we can run away for safety. Especially if we have kids that we have to carry, we even have to have more strength. What happens with cortisol is that it pumps us a lot of energy. If we're constantly getting all that energy, it needs to either be expended or stored. If we're constantly in this stress state, then our insulin is saying, this girl is very stressed. We need to create more, and more. And when you have too much production of insulin, our body starts getting into a state of insulin resistance. It doesn't acknowledge all the insulin that's already circulating in our body. People who have type 2 diabetes can often have problems with their eyesight or lose toes because you have all this insulin that needs to go somewhere and it can go into our external limbs. We might have to get an amputation. The more that we understand what's happening with our digestive system, what's happening as our food goes through our liver, all of that, it will allow us to be informed if I go and eat that candy bar or snack multiple times a day, I'm just constantly increasing my insulin, which is a lot of energy. And if our body's not using all of it, we're going to have to store it somewhere. It has to be stored in our bum or in our hips or in our chest or our arms. The more that we can understand what's happening, the more informed we can be, then we can start being a better steward of our body. Just like with our car, we know that in order for the car to work well, we need to get the oil changed every 5,000 kilometers or so. If I don't do those maintenance things, my car's not going to work very well. It's the same thing with how I help women feel empowered with permanent weight loss. The second pillar is called how to create your own protocol and troubleshoot it. I have women that lose 50, 60, 80, 20 pounds. I don't know what they eat. I don't know when they eat. I don't know how often they eat. It doesn't matter because they're their own unique person. Who am I to tell them when to eat and how often to eat? They are smart, capable women. They've taken care of children. They've done jobs. They do not need someone to tell them what to do all the time. In fact, when you first lose weight, it's going to change when you maintain weight. Or the first 50 pounds is going to be different than your last 10 pounds. The more that you can understand what's going on in your own unique body, the more empowered you're going to be. As you learn to troubleshoot your eating plans, you can feel that confidence. Simple things like every day I weigh myself, I see that the number went up. Okay, what did I do yesterday? Did I tap into my hunger? Did I get enough sleep? Am I drinking my water? Am I working through my stress or trying to avoid it? The more they can be interactive with their own weight loss program, that's so sustainable. And that's what I want for you. That is why I say inside my program, they learn permanent weight loss because they are becoming the CEO of their own life. They're not living in fear. And they look at failure in a completely different way. The third thing that happens for permanent weight loss that's so empowering is that we start learning to feel our feelings instead of scrolling or eating or distracting ourselves. One of the things we do inside the program, and it's been a big focus recently, is this emotional wheel. In the center are kind of our core emotions, which are fearful, angry, sad, happy, bad. What starts happening is it's like the spoke of a wagon. From the emotion of angry, we can dissect it even further into let down, humiliated, bitter, mad, aggressive, frustrated, distant, critical. And then it breaks that down even more. Critical can now go into skeptical or dismissive. Distant can go into withdrawn or numb. As you learn more and more about emotions, guess what starts happening? You turn less and less to food, shopping, scrolling, or sleeping, watching Netflix, having lots of naps, because you're trying to avoid your life or serving or helping people, being super, super busy and exhausting yourself. So the fourth pillar that we need to truly embrace is a very tricky pillar. And you will never find this in traditional weight loss, like Weight Watchers or Noom or keto. It's taking 100% responsibility for yourself. And two of the main problems that we fall into, and we don't even realize we're falling into them, is shame, which says, I'm not good enough. No matter how hard I try, no matter how much weight I lose, no matter how clean my house is or how good my kids are, I am never good enough. That's shame. And that is so exhausting and devastating. And then on the other extreme, which we don't even realize we're falling into, is blame. It's saying, if I had a better mother, and if she didn't take me to Weight Watchers when I was 10 years old, I wouldn't be struggling with my weight. It's all her fault. Or if I had a more inspirational teacher who really helped me and listened to me, I wouldn't be such a mess. It's not my fault. So the more that we fall into this shame and blame cycle, the less that we can take responsibility for us as adults. In previous episodes, I talked about the yo-yo diet dilemma and how these two cycles that we fall into contribute to why we yo-yo diet. I teach you tools on how to become an emotional adult, which means you take 100% responsibility for your life, regardless of all the challenges. This is where you start truly getting into your own power and becoming that CEO of your life. And then the fifth pillar for permanent weight loss, your worth is already set. You don't have to lose weight to be more worthy, but that's not what we hear all the time. But this is called self-confidence. And self-confidence is a skill that we learn. There's 3 steps to building self-confidence. And the more that you can learn how to build self-confidence, the more that you can truly be happy. A lot of people say to me, you're either born with it or not. And that's a lie. We all build self-confidence. And there are some areas in your life where you are very confident. And there's others where we're not so much. If I asked you to go get me some milk at the store and you're my neighbor, you would feel really confident. You know how to drive a car. You know how to go get milk. But if I asked you to free motion quilt a queen size quilt with all over feathers and you've never free motion quilted a feather before, you don't have that confidence. So it's something that we build and work on. Inside the tools that I teach, you learn those, continue to learn them. The reason we're talking about these 5 pillars and permanent weight loss and learning about our mammalian caregiving system and our lower brain, the reptilian brain, is that if we don't have our brain on our side, we're never going to make a change. Like Henry Ford said, if you always do what you've always done, you always get what you always got. The more you understand how powerful this brain is and how it is connected to our body, our lower brain, our reptilian brain is 5 times more likely to look for the negative than the positive. When you understand these things, that's when you can make permanent change. So my plea to you is to stop wasting money on weight loss. Just stop. The weight loss industry, it's based on failure. So inside my program, I've created this 90-day workbook, which covers those 5 pillars I just talked about. With weight loss sciences, create your own eating plan and troubleshoot it. Feel your feelings instead of eating them. Take 100% responsibility for yourself and build self-confidence. I have taken those 5 pillars and I use my school teaching days and my quilt teaching days, my curriculum expertise, and I've created a 30-day cycle. Every day in 30 days, I work on each of those pillars. We have about 5 to 6 days per 30-day cycle. And then we repeat it to the next 30 days, and then the next 30 days, a little bit higher and a little bit higher. For example, day 1, I'm going to teach this one principle that's going to be the same as day 31 and day 61. You can come inside my program and get the 90-day weight loss for freedom. Every day I will send you a 5 to 6 minute video that goes over this for the first 30 days. So you're going to get that along with support office hours. And it is half the price of my program. If you want to keep going with my program, then I have a very special offer for you. And so I want you to think about how much money have you spent on weight loss? What is it costing you to not fully be understanding what's really going on? And so I want you to check out my 30-day offer with all the office hours to help you make this transformation. What would it be like if you never had to worry about weight loss again? I'm so grateful to be part of your world. It truly warms my heart. As I'm recording this, every time I record a podcast episode, my heart is just so full that we have the technology and the ability to reach out to anyone who is struggling. And I am so grateful to those women who reached out and said, hey, I have a better way. In 2018, when I was scrolling on Instagram, struggling with my weight, the highest I'd ever been, and felt so confused in my perimenopausal body, that woman on Instagram said, I have a way to solve any problem. She helped me. She introduced me to this toolkit and said, here are the tools, and I'm going to help you to learn them. As I learned them, I have been able to change my entire life, because now I have more health, I have more freedom, I have more confidence, I have so much more that I can give to my husband, to my kids, to my community, because I am so healthy mentally and physically. And that's what I want for you. So let's do this. If you're ready to solve the great dilemma, knowing what to do, but not understanding why you keep falling short, join me in Love Yourself Thin. This is the program that resolves it. You get lifetime access to these tools that help you understand why you do what you do, so you can finally create permanent weight loss. No more frustration, no more wondering what's wrong with you, just real transformation from the inside out. If you know what you should do, but you can't figure out why you keep falling short, that's the dilemma, isn't it? You have all the knowledge, you know the steps, but something keeps you from following through. That's exactly what we resolve in Love Yourself Thin, my lifetime membership for quilters and creatives, because you don't have a knowledge problem, you have a thinking problem, and that's what we're here to solve. When you join Love Yourself Thin, you get lifetime access to the tools to help you understand why you do what you do, so you can finally create permanent weight loss. No more frustration, no more wondering what's wrong with you, just real transformation from the inside out. You can learn more and join at www.darathomason.com. This is where the real work happens. Can't wait to see you there.